Here it is, the most important video of the season, the 2019 Fantasy Football Running Back Rankings. We're excited about draft season, we're excited about the football season, and we're excited about gambling on football as well.
Dustin, how can you gamble? You know how? You can do it on FanDuel. That's right. Click on the link in the description below. FanDuel is allowing you to gamble this year if you live in
Nevada, Delaware, New Jersey, Mississippi, West Virginia, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Arkansas, and New York.
Nothing is more fun than watching your fantasy team kill it and then putting a little extra cash on the Sunday night game or whatever game you're watching. I'm a big fan. You can do all of your normal betting on FanDuel. So click on that link. Help us out by doing it through us instead of some other schmucks. Do it with these schmucks. And we're also going to get you some winners right now for your fantasy running backs. Dustin, who's our top tier?
Tier 1. I mean, you can't go wrong here. These are going to be the first 4 picks in pretty much every draft. Elliott, McCaffrey, Barkley, Kamara. You can almost ship these guys in any order that you want. They all catch the ball. They all score touchdowns. It's just kind of personal preference here. All 4 guys should have amazing seasons.
As we go into tier 2, Le'Veon, who? Mr. Connor was a beast last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They only had to pay him a fraction of what they're paying Bell, and he was real solid. In 13 games, he had 13 touchdowns, almost 1,500 total yards, 55 catches. He's only going to get better this year. Really like Connor, really like where you can get him in the drafts. And the other guy that I personally would put over Mr. Bell, but I lost it, and that's David Johnson. And I get why I lost the argument, because man, was he not good last year.
That team was not good.
It was ugly. And I know the O-line didn't get any better. And I'm normally not one of these guys to buy in like to the hype, but the Cliffy, Mr. Cliff Kingsbury's offense, the air raid offense where they love to throw it down to the running back, Mr. Johnson can catch the football. I'm expecting Johnson's catches to be fairly high. So if you're in a full point per reception league, bump up Johnson just a hair because I think he's going to actually get a ton of balls.
Some fun talent still in tier 3, Damian Williams. Now it's a scary guy to draft just because, he's a career backup, but when you look at how he finished last year, filling in for Hunt, he was a beast. They've already come out, said he's going to be the guy. Hyde's behind him, but are you really that worried about Hyde? And the running back in the Andy Reid system is going to be stellar and get lots of touches. I'm buying Damian Williams. I think he makes sense just outside the top 10. Another guy I'm buying is Aaron Jones with Green Bay. It took them so long for them to finally switch to him over Williams, and then he did get banged up towards the end of the year, so you can't really trust his stats, but they've been saying they're going to get him more involved in the passing game. The arrow is definitely pointing up for Jones, and we think he's another great guy to target in those kind of second, third roundish range.
All right, as we go into tier 4, Melvin Gordon. He was a beast last year. How could we have Melvin Gordon at this spot? Well, it doesn't look good. It's kind of a holdout. It smells a little Le'Veon Bellish, if you will. So as of, that was weird, awkward, a little sniff. Okay, a little cringe, guy.
It worked.
All right, now I'm a little self-conscious, so I'm not okay, but we'll see how this goes. So Melvin Gordon might be holding out, and it looks like he is. I don't think the Chargers are going to go into the demand. It seems like very Le'Veon-ish, so if you drafted Le'Veon in the first round last year, how painful it was, it could happen again. So at this point, on this day that we're shooting it, that's where it is. Before your draft, do a little Google and see what the deal is with Gordon. All right, I also want to talk about Chubb in this tier. And also, that looks like it's going to be a really high-powered offense. The Browns, very exciting, made some good offseason moves. But the reason Chubb's here is because they did, once the Chiefs kicked off Hunt, the Browns said, come on down. So, at bare minimum, when Hunt comes back, he is going to get touches. So, probably when it counts more in the playoffs. It's just a little scary to take Chubb much higher than this spot.
Tier 5, I'm talking about Sony Michel. Now, this is a guy that's been getting a lot of bad notes on him right now. This time of the year, and he's really starting to move down draft boards, and it might move him to the point to where he's a really good value on draft day because he did end the year very strong. They did draft the rookie Harris, but we just really think that Michel's still the guy to own out there. He had a knee procedure, but it's just a cleanup. Like, he's fine. He's going to be ready to go. I think Sony Michel, don't be too afraid of him. I think he could be a touchdown machine this year. And then Phillip Lindsay, there's some question marks around his wrist injury. but he's already in there practicing. He's going to be ready to go. We think he holds off Freeman and is still the guy to own out there in Denver.
All right, next tier, 6. So I first want to talk about Mr. Geis of the Washington Redskins. Let's go back in history a little bit. He slipped in the draft because of some weird reports, and they turned out to be false. Then in preseason and training camp, it was glowing reports how amazing Geis is, and then he gets hurt, doesn't play the whole year. And I feel like people have almost forgotten about that. I know the Redskins aren't going to be great this year, but they do have an okay offensive line. I think he's going to get a lot of touches. I think he's a nice high upside guy and even a value where he's going in a lot of drafts. And then I want to talk about Mr. Tevin Coleman. We always been Coleman fans. Dustin, have you been a Coleman fan?
Well, I like him.
You know who else likes him? Kyle Shanahan. And you know who is the head coach of the 49ers? Kyle Shanahan. You know who he used to coach? Was Tevin Coleman when he was on the Atlanta Falcons. I see a lot of upside here from Mr. Coleman.
Tier 7, got to talk about a couple of must-grab handcuffs real quick. Darrell Henderson, Rashad Penny. If you get Geis or if you get Gurley, you gotta get these guys. So it's kind of one of those things where if you're drafting those guys, Carson and Gurley, you just gotta know that you're gonna have to spend another fairly decent draft pick on getting one of these other two guys because the upsides are too huge to not have them on your bench.
Dustin specifically told me after tier 6 we're only allowed to talk about one guy.
I grouped them into one.
So I'm going to group as well. In tier 8, let's talk about Singletary and Mr. McCoy. Both on Buffalo. We have them ranked back to back here. And look, we got the rookie hire. I'm sorry, McCoy fans. I'm sorry, Mama McCoy. I'm sorry, Mr. McCoy. It's off the cliff. Think it's over. Think the career's done. But, if you're in the later rounds and you're on the turn, you can grab both of them. Let's see what happens. We don't mind that move. That's why I have them ranked as such.
Group them together. That's fine.
Okay, if that's legal.
Peyton Barber, I want to talk about in tier 9. All the reports on Ronald Jones have been very positive. But, man, was Ronald Jones bad last year. Ooh. It was awful. It really does seem like Peyton Barber might be the safer pick, but he's not the fun pick. So that's why we have Jones over Barber. But, in terms of just a real late running back that you can get that can be a serviceable flex play for you, Barber could be that guy, but his ceiling is just not very exciting.
Tier 10, Ito Smith. Coleman gone. Freeman there. Freeman always not really the pillar of health. Ito Smith actually passed the eye test last year whenever he was getting touches. Again, at this point, you're looking for wild cards, right? So you don't have to have Freeman to grab Smith as like a handcuff. He's a high upside guy if Freeman goes down. And again, Freeman not the pillar of health. That's why I'm talking about Mr. Smith right now.
And then the last tier, Jalen Samuels. Everyone loved this guy in Yahoo leagues last year.
Tight end eligibility!
He had tight end eligibility. And he was serviceable, and whatever running back is in that Pittsburgh system is going to be successful. So, Connor did go down last year. If that happens again this year, Samuels could be a decent guy. So just, guy, like Brent was saying, put on your bench, high upside guy. So that's your running backs.
Hold on.
Let's see it.
Oh, now you're putting. I'm actually going to think about it.
Yeah, we're going to wait.
All right. You want me to actually think?
That was terrible. That was worse. That was
stupid.
Sign up for FanDuel. Check out all our other stuff. Oh, and download our draft guide, our cheat sheet. We got our cheat sheet. That'll be in the description as well.